But he is for his amendment to audit the Fed. That's the only good thing in here. You got a little bit of punch in the turd bowl here. I'm sorry to use that horrible analogy. So he did vote against the bill, but it still passed. So the audit the Fed bill goes ahead now to the U.S. Senate. We need to make sure that provision stays in the U.S. Senate version. Correct, Bob Chapman?
Right. We got to get after the senators, just like Ron said, and get after them, each and every one of them, not just your own senator. You got to bombard them. You got to make them think that there's 80% of the population that votes is for passing 604, irrespective of what else is in it. And I think what Ron did, if he voted against the bill, was he voted his conscience.
This is Alex Jones. We just talked to Rachel Mills, press secretary for Ron Paul. He did vote against the overall banking bill, but he shepherded the audit the Fed bill, the amendment, through the House Banking Committee into the bill. He's happy it passed. He's not happy the other provisions are in there, but it now goes to the Senate. We've got to make sure that doesn't get stripped out. I wanted to take a few final calls for Bob Chapman, then I'm going to run down all the latest ClimateGate, a bunch of other financial news that I haven't gotten to yet. But first, let's go to Greg in Hawaii, who's been patiently holding. Greg, you're on the air.
Woo! Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Okay, buddy, go ahead.
Hey, Kalikimaka, Alex, thanks for taking my call. I got a couple quick questions. And
yeah, they got to be quick because your phone's really bad.
All right, let me get off a speakerphone here. Is that better?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
All right. How do you wake up a girlfriend that works for Big Pharma is one question. And another question is, what size of shirt do you wear? I want to send you a shirt I made for Christmas.
Okay, well, number one, my wife, when she was my girlfriend, didn't really entirely believe everything I was talking about. And I said, that's great, honey. I like you and like the way you look and everything else, and like your personality. You don't have to believe what I believe. And then after a year or two of being around me, she was like, my God, this stuff's all real. She'd see me there reading the papers, the documents. And then we got married, and she knows as much as I do about this and is more freaked out than I am and can't believe the public isn't waking up. So I wouldn't hard sell her. You could bring her, the CBS News article where they put live polio virus in the polio vaccine, killing a bunch of people. You can bring her the Tuskegee experiment information. You can bring her Project Shad, where our own government nerve gassed our troops to death and did tests on them. Did the same thing in England. You can bring her the actual insert of the vaccines where it says the H1N1 has mercury, can cause cancer, can sterilize you, and say, well, then why is the news saying this is just fine? And, just make it fun. And a lot of yuppies and people, if you really want to wake her up, they go off of feeling trendy. So, just kind of laugh with her, not at her, and say, okay, you think 20% of the public on serotonin reuptake inhibitors is great. You think all this is wonderful. Hey, here's articles right here. Here's the insert for Prozac admitting it can make you commit suicide. Oh, here's articles where they suppressed that in their trials in 1980, 81. I mean, instead of arguing with her, just give her a pile of documents. Bob Chapman.
There's no other way to do it. And, of course, there's Alex's site, and there's the International Forecaster. And over a period of time, as long as she's willing to listen, it'll all open up.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. What about chemtrails? Because about a month ago, I saw a gray plane flying about 4,000 feet, releasing a chemtrail over Kihei Mountain.
Well, the White House science czar has now admitted there's been a long-term secret weather modification project they call geoengineering or terraforming going on. And, yes, there is a lot of atmospheric manipulation, and I wear a large. Okay, I went from an extra large to a large, but if I don't get back on my diet, I'll go back to an extra large. But I wear a large T-shirt. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the call. Another call for Bob Chapman here. William in Tennessee. You're on the air. Go ahead, William.
Greetings and salutations from the FEMA-controlled state of Tennessee.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
Yes, for those that don't know, you have official Army checkpoints in Tennessee. The governor says don't do it, but they just continue them.
It's everywhere. It's really intimidating to try to go anywhere in public. I just had a really quick question for you. Which of your documentaries best describes the eugenics project and its overreaching, overarching end result.
End game blueprint for global enslavement. This film right here. End game.
Why they would want us to all perish. I mean, they need slaves, right?
No, they don't want us to all perish. They want, on average, different documents say different numbers, 250 to 350 million people. Bob Chapman, explain to our friends that this is a parasitic banking system that creates fiat money to buy the world. They don't need us. They don't want us. Explain that, Bob.
Well, to take it one step further, then they don't need as many people, and they're interested in the longevity of the planet. They're also, as Alex said earlier, if you were listening, they have ways of extending life now, 150 to 200 years, and it'll grow in time. And they don't want to give that to everybody. They just want these slaves to be able to evolve for the time that they naturally are living today, which would be in the 80s. And then if people learn about what they're doing, well, they'll naturally die or be put to death. And so that's you might call it the world that they want to create for us.
Bob Chapman, fire out the toll-free number if folks want a complimentary copy of the International Forecaster.
That number is, and I don't have it in front of me, here it is, 877-479-8178, toll-free, 877-479-8178.
Or theinternationalforecaster.com. Get one online. Thank you, Bob. See you next week.
We're on the